Here we go. Shanghai Dragons on the attack.
Undead will win the duel. Beautiful from Dia.
Unco rolling this fight. And now here comes Envy.
When we talk about the Valiant, it's about their aggressive engages.
This is everything for the Shanghai Dragons. Oh, man. No, Kareem snipes it out of the air.
Now the kills coming in for the Dragons. Never surrender. The action continues live from Los Angeles. Welcome back. This is the Overwatch League regular season. I'm your host, Chris Puckett, and we've got another big match here in the final week of Stage 1. Now, there's been a lot of playoff talk, but we should remind everybody, this is just for the Stage 1 playoffs. 125 grand up in a performance bonus, but there's still many more dollars to earn at the end of the season. Let's bring it, Brad. We got Crumbs, we got Zoe, and we got a team here that may be in the running for the top spot at the end of all 40 matches. The Los Angeles Valiant, one of the biggest surprises of the week. But as we look at the schedule here, guys, I have to ask you, what's more surprising, that Dallas was able to beat the Gladiators 3-1, or that we had the Shock taking it to a Game 5 versus the Dynasty?
It's got to be the Shock taking on the Seoul Dynasty. The fact that it went to 5 games alone is a ridiculous statement. I would have never agreed with this had it been the start of Stage 1.
Now we have the 09 Shanghai Dragons going up against the 6-3 Valiant, and it's time to give it up for the underdogs. Make some noise for the Shanghai Dragons. And out first is coming the Valiant today. We'll take it all back.
They've definitely changed quite a bit.
I like the white jerseys on them, but this is, of course, our Los Angeles Valiant squad that impressed everybody when they were able to topple the Dynasty and really start this whole playoff chaos.
And they have just brought in the reinforcements with Unco making it back into the lineup. This guy is the Zenyatta, one of the best Zenyatas in the entire league, and he offers that DPS style that we see so much from the New York Excel. Being able to single out individual heroes and get some picks is more than enough to get a team as aggressive in their defense as the Valiant to get the ball rolling.
There's some Soon love in the building.
Yeah, and it's all about this French coordination, right, between these two players, Soon and Unco. These are the two players rightfully mentioned there, Crumbs. But it's also this tank play as well. And, I mean, that's really one of the best parts about this squad in general, is that coordination between the supports, the DPS, and that tank line.
Kareem needs
really
his hand warmers. Sorry to cut you off there.
Oh, no problem whatsoever. Yeah, we have another Frenchman here on our screen, Unco. But yeah, as you just mentioned, the frontline duo, Fate and Envy, they had so many big plays in the last few games we saw from the Valiant. They are leading the dives, teamfight execution, and communication patterns for this team. Very important.
Unco, so many frags in that matchup against the Seoul Dynasty. We'll see what he can do today, because he's going up against the Shanghai Dragons. Let's do it for real now, LA. Give it up for our 0-9 squad. They were so close to picking up their first match victory, but they fell in that Game 5 to the Dallas Fuel.
I got to talk to the team prior to the match and did ask them how they feel going into this game. They actually told me that they have to strengthen their confidence because the players, they're not very relaxed on stage. However, looking at how they're taking their seats right now, they look pretty relaxed to me.
Listen, I can tell you as somebody that has been a pro player and been on 9-game losing streaks that you gotta go for the little things. And the Shanghai Dragons can play spoilers here, and the fact that you can drag somebody down out of playoffs is more than enough to get you out of bed and get really rallied up for this game.
Crumbs, for the official record, how many games in a row was that losing
I don't
streak?
remember. I don't think about those things that much.
In general, one of these players, that guy right there, Undead, that's who I want to talk about, right? Because his DPS play has been one of the only examples that we can point out as one of the best parts of this team in general, because he does perform on a much higher level than some of these other teams that are actually above Shanghai Dragons. Undead and Dia, this combo is a bit of a unique DPS composition, or combo I should say, because they sort of overlap some of these roles. However, they do perform day in, day out, and they try their best to really get these wins for their team.
The DPS is stepping up, altering, looking even better in that support role. We'll see if the tanks can get the job done as they go up against the Valiant. It's definitely been one of their strengths. And the Valiant, they surprised a lot of us. In fact, I don't think any of us at the desk predicted they would be able to get themselves into the playoff run. Zoe, this is a big match, and it's not a guarantee even if they win it straight up.
No, we're having the same situation like we just had in the other match. Valiant needs to 4-0 the Shanghai Dragons. And if anything, we learned today, like Shock took that map off of Seoul Dynasty. No one would have predicted did that earlier on in this stage 1, and now Valiant has to do the same. Not only that, they also have to hope for Boston to win by at least 2 maps against the Houston Outlaws tomorrow. If they don't manage their 4-0 win, and if Boston doesn't take those 2 maps, Valiant is out.
And if you're confused about Seoul being at that number 3 spot, well, that's just temporary, because remember, the teams right behind them, that's Houston and Boston, they play each other tomorrow. The winner will officially jump them in the standings. But Brent, let's bring it back to this match. When you're looking at the Valiant, what are you looking out for today?
I'm honestly actually quite worried for the Valiant in this match, and I say that with not even in jest, because a lot of these teams, they come into these matches against Shanghai Dragons and they underestimate them time and time again, and they're just dropping silly maps due to silly mistakes, and whether it's because they're prepping for other teams or whatever, I'm not too sure. However, we've seen it so many times where Shanghai swoop under and they end up taking a map, and I feel like Valiant, if they're not prepped today for Shanghai, the same potentially might happen, and it could upset their road to the playoffs.
Crumbs, you're giving Brent some more ugly looks there. What's going on?
I don't think we should be too preoccupied about this one, because Seoul is a very different case than the Valiant. Seoul actually just lost to the Valiant 3-0. They didn't even take a game off this team. They're coming back from having Unko. This team is on the rise. I see no reason to imagine why they would not have done their homework when it comes to dealing with the Shanghai Dragons.
And what kind of difference does Unko have being back in the lineup? We saw Valiant struggling a little bit with Verbo. They even won a match with Verbo. But what does it mean to have this guy back on the team?
It's just that added synergy. We briefly touched on it when the players were walking out, but the fact that Soon and Unko have so much time played together throughout their entire careers in Overwatch is going to be infinitely helpful, because you really do need to have a lot of coordination between the player that's playing Tracer and the player that's playing Zenyatta. If you can coordinate the Discord orbs, the Harmony orbs, making sure nobody's falling down and peeling for each other, you're going to have a good time.
Crumbs, I have to ask you about this matchup. You said Shanghai Dragons not going to be the toughest opponent for the Valiant, but they did go to a Game 5 against the Dallas Fuel. They didn't win that big Game 5. They weren't able to win Control. But when you look at today's maps, if they're going to stop the playoff opportunity for the Valiant, what game mode do they win, and how do they clutch up if it goes to a Game 5?
I do think Hybrid's probably their best chances here in the first opening game. I believe we're going to have Numbani as the opening map, and just being able to identify what heroes for each stage is going to be very important. So a lot of the times, Shanghai Dragons will stick to the McCree and maybe a Tracer if they feel like it, and never switch off, as long as they make adaptive switches quickly enough, because we have seen them go into the Reaper when it really mattered. But as long as they can do that a bit sooner, I think they'll have a better chance.
So we got 12 likable players on the main stage right now. Who are you watching Game 1?
Oh, it's gonna be soon.
Watching soon.
Always soon.
The Valiant
Right.
Tracer, the player to watch for Zoe, and I'm told that game number 1 is ready to go right now. LA, are you ready? Make some noise as we send it backstage one more time. It's the Valiant taking on the Dragons.
Thank you, Puckett. And yes, this is going to be a straight fire match. You know why? Because Shanghai, I think Crumbs was dead on with this prediction. There's nothing so sweet about ruining the hopes and dreams of your opponents. You know, you may not be able to get into the playoffs, but you could definitely mess things up for the Valiant right now.
If I can't win, no one can.
Exactly.
You're coming back down with me. And the Valiant have to 4-0 just to keep their hopes alive. Things have to happen, but that doesn't really matter. They can't be thinking about that right now. They got to take care of your own business, and then however the chips fall as they may going forward. I'm of two minds of this, because one, I love an underdog story. More importantly, I don't like anyone getting a 0 in the win column at the end of a split. I just hate seeing that 0.
So you're a socialist.
Yeah, sure. 2, I have to live in Los Angeles, and I see a lot of Valiant jerseys around where I live, so I don't want to be the guy who picks against Valiant. So this one could be close. I think the first 2 maps definitely favor the Valiant going in. They have 75% win rate on both of these maps, so we're going to start out first, while Shanghai is winless on both these first 2 maps. But then it gets to Ilios, gets a little bit dicey, and then Junkertown, that might be the one to decide it all, so we'll see.
You're right, this is home turf. You know, we were over at, like, what is it, Fusion House, right down the street. There's a big Valiant billboard right there in the middle of the street.
Right.
Those guys, Philly, every time they drive to the studio, they got to drive past that. Like, man, those guys, damn it. That's it. This is home turf for the Valiant.
Yeah.
They are definitely the favorite team in this matchup.
Well, to speak up a little bit of Shanghai and how they should not be overlooked is they took Philly to the brink. You know, that was a close set. They've taken maps off some very good teams, took some maps off Dallas, beat Seoul in a map. I mean, not sure what that really means right now, but Valiant, I think the first 2 maps should be theirs. Shanghai just looking for that upset. Valiant has to 4-0. Even a draw, I think, knocks them out of playoffs.
Certainly, as Zoe pointed out going into it, I mean, it is kind of a bit of an awkward spot for Valiant as well, where you're thinking, well, if Boston could also screw us over here.
Yeah.
Think about that. If Boston, you know, they see it, oh, we missed our chance. Oh, wait, we can really screw with the Valiant right now. Things can get dicey in these kinds of map formats and these kind of league formats. And so you got to keep your eyes on everything, soak up all the info, and be sure to listen to the desk because they're going to be breaking it all down for you. My man Brenji is on point. And so let's see, are the Shanghai Dragons going to be on point with this defense to kick things off? Because the Valiant, they're on the attack.
Well, this is good for Freefeel. He's able to play Ana, his home hero. That was his best hero in Chinese Overwatch leagues. Double DPS also, or double hit scan DPS also makes a ton of sense for the Dragons. They're best heroes for Undead and Dia. A lot of this is, can Altering stay alive, get the reses he needs, and can the tanks coordinate well together for Shanghai to upset Valiant?
Oh, right through the middle as well here from Silk Thread, getting topped up, no worries there. He's kind of taking a peek around, and that's a bit awkward, falling out in the open, but Dia getting picked by Soon immediately. That's definitely not the start the Shanghai we're looking for here.
That's a battle you're almost never going to see. It takes place on the backside, watching the flanks. Dia was watching the flanks, soon got to him, took him down. The only death will be Kareev, and as important as Mercy is, when everyone else is dead, it does not matter. Valiant establishing dominance.
Oh my God, somebody stop this guy. Silk Thread. What a monster. He doesn't need Tac Visor. He's got it just built into his hands.
And to think he almost made the terrible decision of going to college instead.
For shame. I mean, Soon as well, this is his stomping ground. He loves Numbani. It always seems like he ratchets up. He hits a different level when he's here. This is just his turf. So, well, Dia put on notice right out the gates. Already a bit of a forward defense being put forward here from Shanghai Dragons. Los Angeles Valiant not letting them take the fight too quickly, however. We will have Altering getting Roshan back into the fight and altering both presence.
Yeah, he gets a third life here. He's probably on his last token in the Donkey Kong mini game he's playing, trying to get back in. Roshan just needs a little more help from MG. I feel like the tanks don't play enough together for Shanghai. That leads to Roshan looking worse than he is. They are going to Tactical Visor. Kareev is dead yet again. They're going to double down, though, transcending this. They don't want to get pushed all the way back to their spawn, and this is going to give them the breathing room that they need.
Sick. There it is, the stick. But Dia taking a fall, or an orb to the face in the process. That was a little dicey there for him. Silk Thread not really able to challenge without the Valk there to keep him alive, or the trance to keep him alive either when the tactical visors were going on.
Well, everyone blew their ults that had them up except for Kareev, who was busy waiting in spawn, but that's going to work out rather well for the Valiant, as they're going to be able to push this with a Valkyrie if they choose to do so preemptively. Get in the sky, push it around the bend. It might be enough to win a decisive fight and second point.
No tac visor to worry about if you are Kareev, you're right. So you can get the skies. You will have to worry a little bit about the regular shots, but we'll see. Fate kind of poking around. There is a bit of a challenge here between both tanks, creating a lot of ult charge here for their healers, getting topped up constantly. Eventually, there's going to have to be a kill that will be the turning point.
Well, Altering got up to his wings again as well, so he's going to pop his Valkyrie again, bring people back to life. It's just an indecisive engagement from the Valiant to start that off. It allowed Shanghai to bank some of these ultimates, and now they're in tough territory because Tactical Visor is going to be coming up.
Exactly, there it is. As you say it, Tac Visor in play. See when Silk Thread decides to go for it. He's looking for an opening, a big angle here. Unfortunately for him, he's going to get pushed back by these tanks, and so he continues to play very patiently. MG getting melted, MG nearly getting D-Max, and that's going to be the go signal here for Silk Thread. Just start shredding them.
He's got to get through that bubble, but he's got everybody going for him. Bubble pops, and so does the Shanghai defense on that hold. They're going to get pushed all the way back. Very unlikely they'll be able to get back out here. Well, I mean, they could attempt to. I don't think necessarily they're in the best position to do so. Shanghai, though winless on this map, has put a very good fights on it before. It's not as the record indicates. You'd have to really see it to believe it, but they've been playing Numbani close despite never pulling it out. It seems like the story of the Shanghai season. Close, but no cigar.
That is exactly it. Undead starting things off soon. Gonna whiff the shot there. Thought he'd be able to get a pistol butt to the face, but not gonna happen. And so again, it is just going to be the slow tickle war here between Winstons, between the Divas up close. There's the stick though, and the D-Mac possible, not quite.
He has a Mercy up there with him. He goes back to try to finish the job, but is smart to get out, but not in time. Dia is trying to equalize the score between him and the Tracer battles. So far getting pushed back a little bit. That's the Pulse Bomb sticks. A D-Mac happens, actually self-destruct to get a new back.
Yeah, without Soon to worry about, Dia gets some room to breathe and try to make the big plays happen for his team. Soon is back into the fight now, however, and so we'll see how Dia handles this. Zunko looking for those orb volleys. He's got his trance locked and loaded. Kareev has got the wings as well, but Altering on the other side, balancing it out. Freefeel is the one who's very far away from his support ult.
Altering's been doing a good job of staying alive, which is why he's had a transcendence advantage in some of this fight. Unko goes to try to defend himself, but it is Undead who pops the visor early. That visor's out because Kareev's got the wings. He uses it, but they're getting pushed all the way back. If they can win this fight without using Altering's Valkyrie, they'll be in a great position for another hold.
This is huge. Altering even getting the dead res off. So now you just continue to buy time. You'll get your second res back into the fight here. And now Kareev working on that ult charge yet again, but no wings there to support it. And the pick coming through from Dia. The DPS stepping up here for Shanghai Dragons. They are moving together as a team right now.
I don't necessarily think it's the DPS stepping up, and no one has been more critical of Altering than I have. You've watched games in the caster lounge with me. You've heard me say it time and time again. Altering needs to play better.
You're not all sunshine and roses.
No, that's contrary to popular belief. But he's playing great right now. He's had the Valkyrie advantage the entire time, being more patient on it, not dying in situations where he should be or should not be dying, getting the critical reses off without the wings. If this can keep up, Shanghai Dragons look like they've improved even another level.
Well, so far, the defense stands tall. 2 minutes 20 left on this clock, and Los Angeles Valiant have been very patient now, setting up their own ultimates. They've been farming away. Same can be said for Shanghai Dragons. There's the self-destruct. Can he get back in time? No kills. Right on the edge, right on the corner. A good position from Shanghai allows him to dodge that bomb. So now it's Undead out in the open. He's got the tack visor, still playing the corner, and he is going to decide to commit to it. The bomb goes off, but it's not going to matter. In the end, it's Fate coming through. Altering is there with the reses, brings Undead and Roshan back into this fight. And now it's the all-out brawl on this payload. Unending battle. Back and forth as Kareev does manage to turn it around here. It's Fate who's just going way deep right now in the back line, trying to put the pressure. That's going to be the kill. That's going to be a bit difficult, except Kareev can, of course, dart forward and get the res off.
That earlier self-destruct looked like it didn't accomplish anything, but it spooked Altering enough that he popped his Valkyrie to get out. That meant once it dissipated, Kareev was able to pop his Valkyrie, get back in there. Can they even touch? No! Soon with the final blow there. Valiant burns through a Valiant Shanghai defense. Gets themselves all the way to the end of Numbani.
That was solid from Shanghai. Fell apart at the end, but...
I mean, it's a synopsis of the Shanghai novel. Solid, fell apart at the end.
It is tough. There is that turning point. And I mean, of course, you can't really start to make any mistake versus Valiant. They are way too tight as a team. They will obviously take advantage of it. You pointed out the Envy self-destruct as well, really starting to throw things a little out of whack for Shanghai, and that's just good enough for Valiant to push their payload home.
It's a great self-destruct point around that corner because, one, there's not a whole lot of places to hide in. Even if you go into pack room, you're probably just going to run into Soon, who's hanging out in there waiting you to go into pack room. So you have to decide, am I going to retreat all the way back? Or as a team, do we push forward through this self-destruct into the fray, as it were? And that was the first time that Altering got a little spooked. He didn't want to die with Valkyrie up, so he Valked instead. And then that gave Kareev the huge advantage to push that through.
So now we see how is it going to shape up here for the Valiant on the defense. I mean, they like I mentioned earlier, this is kind of a home map for them. They look really beastly on Numbani, Soon in particular. I mean, we've seen him style so far on this map, so no shock there.
And Shanghai's defense hasn't necessarily always been the problem, but the offense has come with its highs and lows. There's definitely a map that you can first hold on. Numbani, so difficult to deal with.
Oh, that's creative.
It's nice. Symmetric pick rate going up.
Going up, man. That's it. They say it's like, what, 0% pick rate? Right now, I'm seeing 100. Every time.
Yeah, the ability to levitate luggage does not translate into the ability to be picked in the Overwatch League.
That's actually pretty cool. I hadn't seen that before.
Yeah, no, I hear she's working as a baggage handler at the moment.
Somebody help her. Where are the unions? She needs to get picked. Jeff, please. The push has began now for Shanghai Dragons. Curious to see where Undead taking a different tack here from Silk Thread, at least at the opening. Silk Thread had gone straight up the middle road. Undead choosing to go for the balcony route.
Interesting to see where Dia sets up as well. He needs to be diving with these tanks. That's exactly what happens. Dive comes in, 4 up, go up top. The retreat is on, and Altering picked off by Soon, who was lurking. Able to get that all-important pick, but remember, Valiant lost their Mercy early on in the fight as well. However, that fight shaped up a little differently. Not over yet for Shanghai. Now it's over for Shanghai. Time to respawn.
Ooh. Oh, buddy. Silk Thread just going ham there at the end.
That's a little rough. And now, 3 minutes left. Means like 3 decent pushes on Numbani with the broke down buses. People try to get that first point, just not enough energy in the world to get there.
It's good, you know, once you've gotten wiped out on first point, you're set for an ultra marathon with all the running you've had to do.
Get that endurance going.
That fitness.
Gotta get your cardio up.
Exactly, that fitness is developing here for the Dragons. They've got wings, but they don't need them. They've got legs to carry them forward here. Noel Dia kind of dancing on the edge, looking for the reflex. He's got the blade, but he's taking so much damage, and he is just, no, he doesn't. He gets hunted down by Silkred. You think he made it out, but that's not the case. Silkred snips him, and that's going to be the reset again for Shanghai by the looks of it.
What Dia wouldn't give to had walked over there instead of dashed. He had 4 targets lined up in that hallway that a dash would have done immense damage through, perhaps a kill, then you dash back out, zigzag, zigzag, the whole team's dead. However, he just uses dash's mobility to get over the ledge instead. It's those small cooldowns, those small mistakes which separate some of the best teams in playoff contention from teams that are still winless in the Overwatch League.
I'm still struggling. And, well, a push is going to come through here for Shanghai. I was about to ask you, so in your world, Hex, who should give a kill or a win to Shanghai then, if they need to have a win?
I don't know, man. Don't put me on the spot like that.
Undead put food on the spot. That's what's happening. Shanghai, man, they are fully committed to this. Roshan will be able to leap back to safety, it looks like, but after splattering Unko across the walls, that's a good result for him. Valiant feeling a bit of the pressure as Kareem does go for the wings. The Dia looking for the chop. Not going to get it. In the end, he finds Silkred, but it was definitely long and drawn out.
I don't know how Dia's still alive, actually. He gets out of there somehow. He used his dash again to chase it all the way down, and it zoned them so far out. Very close to getting the point. The resurrections come off, but too late. Very good body control from Shanghai to keep them off of the point on that corner, and they will snag first point, continue to go. Great momentum following that first push.
I'm loving it right now. Unko follows the same fate. Now, I mean, it's just one after another.
Chase him, Roshan.
Let's go! Doesn't want to have anything to do with this. He's donezo. He's out of here. They're going to make a lot of progress. They need to get. If they can get 3 people back on that point, though, that'd be pretty. That'd be nice. But
well, Roshan, I think, is going to stay up here and scout out. If he sees a people just getting a little bit too far forward, he'll jump in, and also he might want to be up here just so that he can pop Primary HD. Up playing with fire, is on fire himself. That's a tactical damage take. Just wanted to charge up his buddy's Valkyrie.
Make the progress.
Valkyrie almost up, too. Altering has done so much healing for this team. 90% here for the next push. Kareev's still a ways away on that one. But, guys, stay on the cart. Yeah, there we go. A little progress. Undead in great position for this tactical visor.
Whoa, buddy, and that is going to be...
Oh, Kareev down.
Exactly. Big kill coming through. Traded. MG finds a kill on Fate. That's big. Undead, however, not going to survive. I'll go with the knife.
Are they popping wings? No, it does not look like that. Shanghai will reset instead. Altering is about a second away from getting Valkyrie when they really needed it. Got it a little too late, decides it's not worth it to go back in. Gonna save it for the next one. That does, however, give Kareev the time he needs to catch up and close that gap. Dia, not necessarily known as a Genji player. He's flexed off of his traditional roles. He's a McCree, he's a Widow, he's a 76, plays a little Tracer as well. He's given up all of that to Undead, where he really shines, and Dia has picked up so many different roles. We'll see how his Genji compares.
No, this is going to be the big fight. We already got the wings popped here for Altering and for Kareev, but that is the big play. You almost scripted it, Hex. You pick this guy up, and he delivers. 2 key kills coming through, and this certainly has to be the turning point for Shanghai Dragons. Nothing there for the self-destructs either, and they are still getting just challenged, contested, but it's not going to be for long. Second point will be theirs, and progress now can be made towards the 3rd and final destination.
When the Shanghai roster was announced, one of the few players I was not surprised to see on it was Dia, just on his pure talent. He wasn't necessarily always on the best team in the Chinese Overwatch scene, but he was always one of the best players on the field, always probably the best player on the field. He's really adapted his style to try to carry Shanghai to a victory.
Well, got Roshan with the primals. See if he decides, he's feeling the heat, feeling the pressure, decides to get angry. There we go.
And they're very low, trying to get this juggle kill. Fighting game in the corner, combos him down.
Oh, solid with the self-destruct as well. And he's now got eyes. Roshan could have looked for it, but instead he's going to come back and get the key kill on Kareem. Unko, nobody there to heal him now. He gets overwhelmed by the monkey. And they're making so much progress now, Shanghai. The stagger is real. They're going to be coming out of here one at a time here for Valiant. Will they be able to do the damage? Undead, no time wasted. Goes for the attack visor, just looking to keep them stuck in their spawn, and they're not going to be able to make it. Valiant get the door shut in their faces. It's tied up 3-3.
In a much better time considering it's Numbani here. Time remaining for Valiant, 128. Time remaining for Shanghai, 215. That equates to maybe one more attempt, or trying to prolong a fight where you should have to hard reset. So 45 seconds may seem like a small bit, but in Overwatch, that's an eternity.
It's a lifetime. When you got that Overwatch, the Overwatch overtime wick burning, we'll just go ahead and commit to it. You know, Hex, put your head down, just get through it.
Just keep going. I didn't see anything. I didn't hear nothing.
I mean, these guys, they're overclocked, they're dialed in. What else can we come up with? They're certainly not overlooked. And anybody who has overlooked Shanghai Dragons, they've nearly paid for it, at least in recent times.
I believe you've overcommitted to this bit.
Listen, it's not overdone until I say it is, Hex. You come at me, bro. Come at me. I got you.
I'm just overcompensating. I'm sorry.
Well, the jokes are overdone. You're right. All right. I think you said that one too. God damn it. All right, you win. I admit defeat.
Well,
I'm all eyes now, man. This is a match on our hands, and if you're just tuning in, we have to remind you, chance at the playoffs is on the line here for Los Angeles Valiant. They cannot give up a single map, and Shanghai have tied it up here on the first map of this series, 3-3.
the good thing is for Valiant, they took first point on their first attack on their first go-around. Shanghai did not. So that's all this is really going to come down to. A first point defense, I think, is very likely to see happen on one of these sides. And already just over a minute left for the Los Angeles Valiant offense.
Not a whole lot of time considering first point Numbani. A lot of run distance. Decent positioning here from Freefield. Soon not quite able to find the flank on him. Soon instead is just camping the point right now, looking for the cap. That's what he's known for. Plays the point, and that's one tick. Or did they get caught? Did they get contested just in the nick of time? It looked like they might have been able to make it back just in the nick of time to stop it.
Yeah, it is reverting right now, goes all the way back. 40 seconds remain. Valiant trying to get up to ultimates. The only one nearing it is going to be Envy. If he gets a really deep dive with a ton of damage, maybe he can get to a self-destruct, zone them off the point. Altering, getting up to his Valkyrie. Kariv nearing it as well. In a prolonged fight, they should both get there. If either of them die, it could swing the entire situation.
Dia at the end of days as Dia gonna try and hold soon. Back right now. A little bit of pressure being applied there by Silk Thread as well. Dia getting out of here soon. On the hunt. The pack picked up by Dia in the nick of time to keep him alive. Soon there's nothing there to heal you. You're not gonna make it out. He's in a bit of a tight spot as Silk Thread will be able to get the biotic fields, keeping his teammates alive. Altering has popped the wings, has got his teammate back into the fight as well with the Valk res. And now it's all or nothing here for Los Angeles Valiant. We are in overtime. Undead boosted up, looking for targets to shred. But it's Silk Thread doing the work.
He almost got the remeching Diva, unable to do so. They are back to decent strength in Shanghai, but they've lost 2. Valiant continue to push. They're at full strength with 6. They will be able to grab this first point in all probability. Undead comes in, takes down Envy, but too little, too late. Let's see how far the payload can go.
Ooh, buddy. And you are not allowed to leave that payload now for an instant if you are Los Angeles Valiant. Overtime is just going to keep burning. Do not make that mistake.
The fuse is lit.
And it'll go in an instant at this point. This will be over, and so be very careful, be vigilant.
Anko's got Transcend, so he can just chill on the card if he wants. Nothing to really dislodge him. In fact, Roshan could make a god play here if he comes in with Primal Rage and knocks everyone off. However, Fate will challenge him to that duel if it comes down to it. Fate's actually just going to jump in with his own Primal Rage, zoning out. They know that every inch matters here.
So deep into the back line goes Roshan. He's got the Primal to stay alive. He's taking a lot of damage, though. Decides to back off. That forces the trans out of Anko, trying to keep his teammates alive. Oh, so close. Not quite, though. Los Angeles Valiant getting the kills here. Continuing to make progress forward. This is unreal, and they're going to keep pressing as well. Fate picks up the late kill on Undead. Huge stagger here.
Winston, perhaps not the most mechanically difficult hero to play, but the most mentally difficult hero to play. When do I go in? When do I get out? Where is everybody? What needs to be happening? This all has to be a checklist in your mind at all times. Fate has leveled up in that regard. Beautiful chase there, going to get them every inch that they need to get to second point. Continuing to go is the payload. They only had very brief time to start off this map, and they're making the most of it.
Listen, if you're the Dragons, you've got such a huge ult advantage right now. Just take your time, breathe deep, and get the work done. Altering with the Valk is going to be keeping his teammates in. This Kareem decides to pop his wings, and there it is! MG, 2 kills with the self-destruct, the D-Mech on Envy. Surely they're going to get the kill as well. Silk Thread is gone, and soon just trying to stay alive on this point. Will be able to tap it, keeps it contested just long enough, but it eventually has to end. And the Shanghai Dragons finally stop Valiant, but only after the second point. It's 5-3.
That was a long push.
That was a very long push.
That is my deep analysis. Long push there. They pushed that thing very far.
It's almost like it was on wheels or hovering.
You know, there are no wheels in Overwatch.
It's true. Everything is very... I don't know, man.
There are literally no rubber tires in Overwatch, except maybe there's one in the gas station on Route 66.
Are they trying to tell us something? You know, we ran out of oil.
Yeah, there's something happened. Cloverfield paradox in effect in Numbani here. Yeah, I don't know what the tires are. Hoverboards?
It's hoverboards, but I'm pretty sure I've seen art. I mean, Junkertown, come on. There's got to be tires over there.
Well, I mean, there was a tire in the game.
And again, it's Australia.
The only tires in the game explodes and kills people. I think that's what they're telling us. Tires are dangerous.
They're trying to tell us all.
Yeah.
I mean, these devs, man, they're so deep. 4D, you know, just layer on layer of messaging going on here. We'll get to the bottom of it. Hex, we got a long time here with this season. We'll get to the bottom of it eventually.
Right. I almost just got really mad thinking about hoverboards, how the hoverboards we have are just 2 things on wheels.
Okay, Mark.
I was promised better hoverboards.
Listen.
All right, back to the Overwatch instead of back to the future. Shanghai has to take the map first points, and then continue going forever. Valiant set themselves a very high bar to be followed up on. Looks like Shanghai is going to go a little bit different here. Undead within 76 last time. Now he's going to go Tracer. This is a very traditional dive. Maybe send everyone in. Maybe set Undead onto the point. Valiant get a counter with a 76, and the rest of it a very similar composition.
All right, well, all of the defense matrix getting used up here to force them off of the high ground. Silkguard immediately drops back, wants to stay with his healers, make sure that he can keep his range so he can keep pumping these heavy rounds into these bodies. Another headshot, there you go, Silk Thread making short work of Undead.
We talk about the term catching a dive a lot of times, and sometimes it just means refusing to play catch. They got dove on and they're, all right, later, that was cool. We'll be back in a second. We're just gonna jump off, re-engage, and that's what they've done twice now on their first point defense. They simply give up some ground and then take it all back over, and just continuing to fire in that defense matrix means D.Va's in a weird spot, and then you don't have the defense matrix up. She is just that giant tank. 112 left, maybe 2 pushes here. But Valiant won that fight in such convincing fashion. They've got ultimates to work with.
Well, Shanghai sticking to the game plan here. It is all about that high ground, forcing them off of it soon, staying alive for days. Has spotted out Undead on the hunt. It's the duel 1v1 versus Tracer. Soon is just playing games with them, drawing them all the way back so that Undead will not be able to help his team. Oh, bloody, there it is. Soon just straight styling on him now. Undead and Roshan out of it. And Los Angeles Valiant looking fantastic right now, altering his popped wings, but he's losing so many teammates that it's not going to make a difference in the end.
Unko and Soon going rogue right there, taking the fight to them. Now, trying to find a silver lining for Shanghai. Last good push in here. They can transcend into it. Altering head, used his wings. Roshan, you saw that stat, has died more than any other member of Shanghai by a large margin. That's not entirely always Winston's fault. It means he might not be getting the support he needs on the dive. It is a different dive than a lot of other styles because it's a long and isolated dive in there, but they got to get on the point.
It is the patient hunter waiting for his prey to step out into the open so he can go and pancake him. Fate has got the primal as well. Gonna go ahead and get angry now and just start batting him around. That is going to make all the difference. Los Angeles Valiant, they set the trap, and they've got themselves a nice dragon for the mantelpiece. Map 1 for the Valiant. And Shanghai Dragons, once again, left going home with nothing, at least at the beginning of this series.
The question I have going forward is, how is Valiant feeling mentally? Because yes, you won the map, but Shanghai showed that they are no one to be overlooked. Had themselves a very good offense of their own. It's a map that they continue to struggle on because of their tank play. But as I said, the pool increasingly favors Shanghai as we go on. Don't go anywhere yet. This one far from over. Valiant has to ace this map to keep their hopes alive.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back from the break, everybody. This is going to be the defining moment. We've got 3 maps here that the Los Angeles Valiant have to win at all costs. But what we saw in that first map is that Shanghai, they aren't going down without a fight, Hex.
No, definitely not going to roll over. The idea of playing spoiler has to be forefront in their minds. This is another map going into Anubis. 75% win rate for Valiant, still winless for Shanghai. But again, when you look at just the numbers, Shanghai looks worse than they are. They've given everyone a fight. They've barely rolled over. Yeah, there's some 0-4s in there, but I mean, there's really close matches. You'd have to watch the film to really get why people like Shanghai.
There were a few where, okay, they did get stomped, right? But then most of them are just cat fights, you know? It's just nonstop hissing and fighting. They don't give up until the very bitter end, right? And so, I mean, what is it, like a cat-sized dragon that we're dealing with right now? The thing is, Hex, is that it's the long-term goal. You give this team time, and all of a sudden you're dealing with a lion-sized dragon, and then nobody wants that.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a big cat.
I've seen Game of Thrones. You got to wait like 4 seasons before the dragons get substantial.
Enough said on that point. We're going into Anubis. You pointed out that this is a map that the dragons have struggled on a little bit, and so in the greater scheme of things here, it's not so much about the win for Shanghai, it's about ruining hopes and dreams for Valiant. That is going to be the big play on maps 3 and 4. But anything is possible when you've got Undead and Dia popping off.
Absolutely, and that DPS can carry. You saw a DPS substitution there. It means Agilities is coming in for Silk Thread. They share similar hero pools. Agility is generally thought of as a little more aggressive on his Genji, which I think is a good trait to have to try to close out Temple of Anubis, get those 3 kills with the Dragon Blade, and zone out those doors. That is the only swap that we have. No swaps for the Shanghai Dragons. He'll be playing defense first here on Anubis. And this could be a decent map for them because it's such a good Widow map. And they've got two very, very good Widows. Early on in the season, it was Dia playing Widow, and he went toe-to-toe with Fleta on Widow and was able to carry his own in that battle. Later in the season, they've moved Dia over to whatever Undead's not playing.
Right.
You know, Undead gets his first choice because he's mostly hit scan, and then Dia's like, well, then I'll pick up the Junkrat and I'll play this. So that has been Dia's role lately. It does seem like Shanghai wants to roll out with a very popular composition. It is going to be a Junkrat and a Widowmaker, and then the Orisa down holding halfway there.
This is more of like the Shetland pony. It's not so much the high horse.
It's a little Sebastian.
Yeah, because you still have, you know, the Orisa's here, right? So we got her, the quadruped, but she's on the low ground right now. That still provides a little bit of an angle for Undead to work with in terms of shield, and that's what this name, or the name of the game here is for this strategy. But I'm taking that as the Shetland pony strategy now. It's the pony strat.
Good enough. Offensively, looks like they are planning to run a pure dive comp. So no one really to challenge Undead. Just a matter if he can get his damage in there first. Maybe you want to lead off with your Diva here so that you can take that defense matrix. Already the bubble pop. It looks like they just want to rotate in and around. That is where they're going to go, and that's how they're going to pressure Undead. Undead should change his angle. If he sees someone pop up to that right side, that's why he's trapped it. Instead, he's just going to go aggressive into it here. There's the angle change.
Yeah, there it is, and just in the nick of time, too. Oh, as I say that, though, however, Agility's on the hunt, and he's dead! Good night! Undead doesn't connect with the shot on Kareem. That would have been monstrous.
Yeah, instead, Kareem connects on the shot on Undead, and that will make him all the way dead instead of just mostly dead there. And now the Valiant come in and clean up the rest. Kareem gives his life for it, but it won't matter. Valiant with a very good first point offense.
That is such a painful situation for Undead to find himself in as well. Because you can see he gets the Venom Mine out to the right. You're thinking, okay, he's going to be worried about that flank, sure, but then he's also probably being told by his teammates that they've gotten into the high ground on the left. He's like, where do I go? What do I do? How do I stay alive? You know what? I take the fight to him.
It was an interesting angle. Had he hit that shot on Kareem, it might have been a game or a fight-altering play right there. Already, though, Undead out of this fight. Agility is coming in. Kareem almost has his Valkyrie ready at 97%. Now they're just going to stall it, try to get in here. That is a huge tire, though, takes on Fate. That is a lot of control gone. Wings should be popped immediately to bring him back up. They do just that.
Trying to keep the fight rolling here. You've still got Soon on the flank, and Soon pressuring Undead, winning this fight. He's down to 60 HP, but he does get the recall just to bring that HP back up. And, I mean, this is what Soon is all about. And he'll fight Undead for days, and eventually he will find that kill. Agility's looking for the squishies, but Altering Clever has backed off, given enough ground here to stay alive and avoid that Dragon Blade.
A self-destruct zoned out. Now Altering's been able to pop his own Valkyrie, trying to bring people back to life. Needs to bring MG back up, but now they lose two more in quick succession. Not enough reses in the pocket to be able to bring that back up, but still it's been a good job to stall out so far for Shanghai. Not giving up a tick just yet. Even more stall coming in. But at a certain point, this is going to snowball out of control. Dia on the Doomfist will take down Soon. That's something to build off of.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. And you've got the Moira in play now as well. This is all out and out chaos.
Ooh, that pulse bomb is enormous from Soon. Takes down two. Those are the kind of kills in unison that you need. Altering tries to get back in. He's cut down. And the Valiant. A blazing fast time on Temple of Anubis.
They knew what they set out to do, but when you give Soon the space to move around like that and pick his fights and keep the pressure up, then he gets all the room to lay the pulse bombs in. It's just a matter of time. Oh, that was brutal. Free Feel was just an innocent bystander.
Well, they didn't lose a fight that whole time. They took first, they took second. That was it. That's the end of that story.
It's a feel-good moment for Valiant. You know what? Like, yeah, we know the fight's coming on the third map. Let's get Anubis out of the way. Now you guys get your turn. They get that lockdown defense going, perhaps. I mean, Soon is a very capable Widow, though. So it is still not done and dusted here as far as Undead is concerned in the Widow fight. Soon can definitely take it to him.
Most people know Soon as a tracer, and why wouldn't he? He's been one of the best tracers in the world for 18 months, something like that. But I think he's shown, especially in the Overwatch League, that he's more than just a tracer. He's more than just a tracer even when he's on tracer. But his Widow play has been there. He can flex to McCree if needed, though that's not necessarily something they do a whole lot of. They also do have a couple other players, Silk Thread, and Grim Reality is yet to really see play, but he can run a Widow. High Horse incoming. Ice Wall built to keep the White Walkers out and to get Orisa up top there.
checks out. We will have that hard point defense here set up from Valiant. Now you're going to get to see the high horse. It's not the pony anymore. It has grown up. High ground with the barrier, and Agility's holding pretty close right now, but he's probably just, yeah, setting a trap. We'll have the combo here. Wow, that's a real trap as well. They've gone with the mine, everything in there.
That's a side that a flanker might go to, or I don't know, even a sneaky Sombra, if they wanted to run a really strange strat, would go there first, and then trap. You get the trigger warning, and then boom, you're dead.
Now we'll see who is going to get that Rude Awakening and then be put down. Soon boosted as well. This is really all about the Soon show here. Is he going to hit some shots or not?
Well, it's going to be very difficult for Undead to do anything against this, and it'd be surprising if Undead tries to stay on this Widow once he sees that shield. He could go for a giant flank around, but everyone's been expecting this now. It's one of the only ways to deal with the high horse over here. Undead is going to try to find a sneaky angle here and there. Might have got in. Still looking for it. They do pop in up top on the dive. Now they've created enough chaos that perhaps Undead can hit some shots.
Sick opening there. The coordination, but Soon too quick. Oh, Diaz out as well. And now he's got eyes on Undead! Soon! What a beast! There you go, crowd. That's right, Howl his name. What a monster.
Not booing, just saying Soon, or Boo Earns, one of the two. And now I'm still kind of surprised Undead is staying on this Widow. There's just very little you're going to be able to do. It's so reliant on your tanks knocking people off onto the low ground for you to deal with. The good thing is, though, once the tanks rotate up, Soon should vacate that position, which means that Undead should be able to take the opposing arch and have his own line of sight without having to deal with anything down there. Here come the tanks, here comes the dive. Soon's out of there.
Yeah, Soon's like, rinse, repeat, rinse and repeat. He nearly gets the kill on Mercy again. Oh, man. This is monstrous. This is just Soon's turf. Gonna hit the shot on Undead in the air. He's doing it, but Undead finally lays him low, brought the silver bullets.
Another definition of a Pyrrhic victory there. Yes, you got a kill. Doesn't matter. Soon's brought back to life. Undead at 95%, maybe tempted to stay on this Widow. All right, Undead, show me something here, because this is a lot of times when the opposing offensive Widow sees this setup, they're off of it.
Yeah.
They go to Genji, they go to anything else to help out the dive in this situation. Undead, not really capable of playing that. I'm surprised Dia hasn't switched either. Maybe Dia goes for a pulse bomb here. Giant tires coming out from Agilities.
They've tried to change the angle of attack here, Shanghai, so there is that adjustment, but then Agilities takes down the backbone of this push. Soon with the D-Mech on MG as well, and they're dropping like flies. Soon, you can't pull the wings off of dragons, man. It's just cruel.
And unethical. Oh, I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with that. Still, though, lurking around in the back line, 120 left here. Undead remains on the Widow. I'm just gonna say that until he gets off of it for whatever reason. I just don't know how you dislodge this the way they've been trying to do it. Maybe you send a self-destruct up here, but then they're all just going to bail out on it. Undead will switch to the McCree. All right.
What do you make of that?
I would prefer a Genji or really almost anything else here. I mean, even a Junkrat to lob stuff over the top. I don't know what angles that McCree's going to get that a Widow wasn't getting is the odd thing. So maybe they're just hoping to knock them off again. It seems to be their strategy to get the tanks up there and hopefully get them out of position. Maybe Undead's looking for a flank. Maybe he's going to be lurking in the room that Soon always goes to over here.
Yep, and that's
There it is!
Oh, he gets wrecked immediately. Every time you can see the plan, they're trying to change it up, at least the angle of attack, but they're getting laid low at every turn here, the Dragons, and Soon still maintaining his position on the high ground. Roshan eventually falls to Unko. And yeah, Soon is just popping off now. He's just styling. And you think at the start too, you're like, okay, you know, Dia's trying to draw attention. You hear the pitter patter of Tracer feet around the corners, and Soon was a little worried about it. He was looking back, but it's not enough. It's not enough.
Pulse bomb on Agilities. No resurrection to bring him up, so they don't really have to worry about the Junkrat now. They do have a small window where it's 6v5, but Soon might count as 2.
It all depends on whether they can get that dive going on this guy or not. They have to dislodge him. They have to pressure him. Can't let him just stand up here and continue to raid death and destruction down. And now Agilities is going to get back into the fight as well. They bought enough time. Overtime's a ticking. Shanghai Dragons are making progress on this point, but they will be able to challenge, and Fate decides now or never. Envy and Fate down on the point, and this is where the melee begins as Agilities. He's being patient with that tire, waiting for the trance to wear off. We've lost free feel, and now the D-Mech on MG. Altering, trying to do the best he can to keep his teammates alive, and they do manage to get the cap in the end. Shanghai, unbelievable.
They were able to defeat the final boss, and soon they're early in that fight. Still, though, only 350 left. Even if they cap second point, will be in a large time deficit here. They've got some stuff to work with, though. Agility switches off of that Junkrat onto the Genji. A hero that works well in close quarters. Undead now on the Genji. And now Dia wasn't really known as a Genji. Undead definitely is not, but the situation calls for it here. Made a decent Genji in that last fight, actually pressured out the Mercy in a strong situation to get her out of position. Undead nearing that blade. Let's see what kind of chops he's got, figuratively and literally.
That was the big one right there. Gets rid of Unko without even having to draw the blade. Now he decides it's time to slice and it's time to dice. What happened? Where did this targets go? Everybody disappeared. Finally gets the kill on Fate. That got a bit chaotic though, and Kareev will be able to get the reses off soon, and Fate brought back to life, and that could be the turning point. Altering, trying to keep this fight rolling.
Yeah, he's got resurrections of his own, still trying to get their first take of permanent progress on the point. They will dive in, and with those 2 kills, I believe they should be able to pull them off of the point. They get a couple of nice return kills, do the Shanghai Dragons. They're trying to stay in here just to secure a permanent progress of 33%. And I think Los Angeles are going to understand this and fight on the point.
Yep, never giving it up right now. Envy still alive for what feels like ages. Gets D-Mech'd and will eventually get, no, still here, 9 HP. Finally, Roshan will get the kill, but that does mean that the Los Angeles Valiant, they have held.
And all the progress they made since it did not get to 33%, you get nothing. Good day, sir.
Good day. Oh, where? All right, you got to help me out on that one. I don't remember that one. I know it. Where is it from?
Oh, come on.
Come on.
Augustus?
Oh, Willy Wonka.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. It took a moment. Oh, my name's August, of course. I've always thought about that. Jesus. All right.
Although you did not almost die to a chocolate fountain accident.
Not
that I know
You don't
of.
know what I was like when I was a kid, Hex. Chocolate? Is it in the room? Is it in the building? I will get to it eventually. All right, Envy. He's down, and he's going to get that self-destruct as well. Can plop that down right in the middle of the point when he wants to really force Shanghai Dragons into these little nooks and crannies where the real work can happen. Fate and Envy just going to town right now. Who needs soon? Who needs Agilities? These guys doing all the work.
It was intended to be an eco rush there, I think, from Shanghai, as they didn't really pop anything to get in there. They did get jumped on, but the good thing for Valiant is that they didn't use a whole lot of their own. They did end up using Unko's Transcend, which puts them behind the 8 ball as far as support ultimates go. Now they're going to have to back up, wait it out. Altering and Free Feel, you know, they've come under heavy criticism from their community and the team. Now is time to make their name. Both of those ultimates should be in effect for the next one. Kareev will have the Valkyrie of his own, but Free Feel should be able to get them in just based on his Transcend.
He's gonna have to use it in the end here. 45 seconds. They've been spotted. Point of entry, Dia lurking on the sidelines, however, looking for those backline supports perhaps. Just trying to get that pressure on. Fate wins the duel versus Roshan to start things off, but of course Altering is gonna have the wings, brings him back alive. The self-destruct trying to create some space, but Envy finds the kill on Altering in the end. That could be the big difference maker here. Kareev hasn't even popped his wings yet.
That is the difference maker right there. No matter what they do in turn now, it's going to be brought back to life by Kareev should he need it. Dragon Blade from Agilities gets stunned out! Instantly resurrected though, looking for vengeance, killed again! Oh, dead!
Let's go. Now Agilities. What are you gonna do about that one? Undead still here, trying to keep the pace, looking for the shots. They're soon gone. Does he get Kareev? Kareev is dancing. Kareev is looking for a way out and eventually finds it, but Envy dies next. Fist to the face when the bullets won't do.
Reeves got some jukes in there. Undead doing his best, takes down Unko in turn. They're getting very close, about 75%. Kareev will also fall in this fight. Can Shanghai get reinforcements in? Can Dia and his compatriots take down the rest of this? But the respawn so close for the defense.
Yeah, getting that remake was big. It bought a little bit more time. And oh my god, Envy! The snake in the grass with the Bastion pick. Didn't expect this one. Right in the bullets in. And the Valiant in the end. They hold on the second point with some spice after all. Los Angeles Valiant up 2-0.
2 more maps to keep Valiant's hopes alive. They've taken care of business so far. Have to go 4-0. Otherwise, they will miss our Stage 1 playoffs. Shanghai giving them everything they can handle.
Yeah, I know. Deep breath after that one. Next deep breath. Man, oh man. I'm enjoying watching Shanghai more and more as time goes on. Stage 2 is going to be sick with these guys.
You come here. Watch out, Nice.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Halftime live here in the Blizzard Arena. Welcome back, everybody. You still with me, LA? It's been a good day, and we're about to break down the early action here for the hometown squad. Right now, the Valiant are halfway to victory. They need to win all 4 maps to keep their playoff hopes alive. And so far, they're coming into this one up 2-0. We got Bren, we've got Crumbs, and fellas, it was pretty nerve-wracking in here during that game number 1. Numbani not as clean as we expected, even though the Valiant were able to complete all 3 points on their attack.
Yeah, this was surprising because I would consider Numbani to be one of Los Angeles Valiant's best maps in terms of how they match up with it stylistically. But honestly, Shanghai Dragons, they performed actually very well, and this is a reoccurring theme that we've seen with the Shanghai Dragons games. They just seem to keep improving and improving and improving as the games are going on. Seem to be getting a lot better in a lot of aspects that we were criticizing them on in terms of support play. Haven't seen too many mistakes coming out of altering these games alongside free feel as well. So all in all, I'm actually quite pleased with the way Shanghai Dragons have actually progressed on Numbani itself.
They really knew how to take advantage of the Los Angeles Valiant right here, because we can see, or rather the Shanghai Dragons took advantage of the Valiant by just staggering them constantly. They got the first point relatively easily, but we figured, okay, when is the second fight going to come out, the third fight? But there was just none of that. The Shanghai Dragons kept the pressure on and forced the Valiant into actually having a pretty tough situation, having to go for the second round.
Now, Brent, when we were watching the bonus rounds, when basically the teams were playing with their time bank on the final attacks, it looked like Shanghai was going to stop Valiant just shy of that first click and then potentially have a full hold. How did Valiant finally break through that Shanghai defense?
So this is one of the best things that Valiant do, right, in these attacks, is the fact that they are one of the only teams in this league that can adapt on the fly in a rapid basis and actually keep working on the mistakes that were being made. And it's actually a slight altering in the way they dived on it. So the first time they tried to dive on Numbani, they focused the sort of the high ground, the top right area, but actually free feel on the Ana wasn't playing on the ground like most teams usually do it. Instead, he was adapted. He played in sort of in the back corridor. And as soon as Valiant sort of clocked onto what they were trying to do in aspects in terms of switching up the positioning, it was actually quite an easy crack for Valiant to really just get in there and exploit the weaknesses.
Now, Crumbs, I have to ask you, coming in, we highlighted that the DPS was stepping up for Shanghai, that we've seen the support stepping up. How did the tanks perform in game number 1?
So I wanted to have some actual math to showcase this, but we're not going to be able to have the visual element. However, highlighting Roshan, he died 20 times on Numbani. How much is that really? Well, Numbani is a map that has 10 minutes per attack and 10 minutes per defense, so that's 20 minutes total. And Roshan dying, that means that's 160 seconds of actual doing nothing. We've added 8 seconds for every death to get back to spawn. That's about 5 minutes and 20 seconds, which averages out to 27% of the time Roshan is doing nothing. He's contributing absolutely nothing to the team, but his stats are actually the same as Fate's. He's actually just as good. So this just shows how much room for improvement this team has. If Roshan can keep up and just shave off those deaths, where could this guy peak?
And do you guys think this is something that's just purely positioning from the tank, or is it something that the whole squad needs to work around, better peels from the D.Va and better supports?
That comes into it, yeah, but for sure. But it's also kind of like this play style that Shanghai like to do, where Roshan just kind of dives in, and he's like the only one taking this damage, whilst the rest of Shanghai Dragons are like collecting kills on the outskirts or whatever. So a big part of it is the fact that the team maybe isn't as coordinated as they could be, but a lot of it is like the style of Shanghai, where like Roshan, like we joke about it in the casting room, but it's like almost the takeaway, like Roshan will die every fight, yet Shanghai Dragons are somehow still winning these team fights because of it. So it's like, it's kind of bizarre, right? Normally it goes against everything you'd understand in Overwatch, but you know, Roshan, these are mistakes that are easy to fix, and it could honestly just like skyrocket the play style of Shanghai Dragons into a much better position.
His Winston is like my D.Va play. Unfortunately, I don't have Dia and Undead cleaning up the mess once the job is done. Let's go to our second match, though, because after dodging a bullet in game number 1, the Valiant, well, they didn't have the fastest start here on Anubis. They were able to complete both points. Shanghai was basically just snuffed out in this one. We even saw Envy pulling out a Bastion to clean up the final point. What is the big takeaway? If you're a Valiant fan and you're hoping for the 4-0 tonight, what did you see from your team in this game?
Agilities is really, really, really good at Genji, is one of them. To be honest, the guy, I'd say a lot of this was off the back of his just raw mechanical play, but of course you can't discount tank play. Envy and Fate, these two guys, they support the entirety of Valiant so well, and enable Soon to also get as many picks as he possibly can, and we saw him on the Widowmaker turning up tremendously on his first defense. But a lot of this map does come down as well to Shanghai Dragons actually struggling to adapt, and this is an issue they faced numerous amounts of times. They were kind of running into the defense, the first defense that Valiant were running over and over again with the same strategy, maybe changing out the angles of attack, and it only just started working in the final moments when they built up a superior ult economy.
Oh, that's really just been their story, right? They tend to realize something's not working, and instead of recognizing the composition as an issue, they decide, let's just switch the play style around there, which will just take time for them to recognize that sometimes you have to just switch things up a little bit sooner. But it just hurts so much when you have to get rid of ult charge, right? You got one guy that's up to 50%. I'm like, oh, should I be switching here off? Well, we've seen teams that are at the top be giving ults up just for the composition. So it really matters more than your ult charge.
So far, it's all Valiant. They're up 2-0, but we still have 2 more maps. Can they stay perfect? They need a big win. Ilios is coming up next on the other side of this break. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
favorite things, one of the most gratifying things about coming to a live Overwatch event is explaining to newcomers that the crowd is not booing. They're simply going, Sue! That's all it is. All it is. If Soon is at an Overwatch event, you're most likely going to hear that. Anyways, the Valiant, they are up 2-0, just 2 more maps to keep their playoff hopes alive. And with that, we're going to go ahead and send it over to Similar and Hex for the second half.
Thank you, Malik. And yes, we are going to get into the second half. But dude, I'm getting warmed up. I'm pumped. This is a great game. We have got the hype going. Everybody's popping off left and right. But first, before we get into it, Hex, you know what's coming. Guys, please stop tweeting us pictures of tires. We get it. There are tires on the maps. And Hex, Why is that? Why are there tires on the map?
Well, you know, I'm OG. I was closed beta, so I'm from a bygone era, as are tires. There are tires on the new maps of Horizon Lunar Colony and of Junkertown. They are from hazardous places from the past. They're relics of the past. The Junkrat tire from Junkertown, of course.
There you go.
That's his home base. And the tire on Lunar Colony was forgotten back up there. So yes, there were not tires in Overwatch. There are now. It's additional and new lore. Please stop tweeting me pictures of
Come
tires.
at this man. Come at this man. You can't hang with Hex. That's it. It's not, if it's lore, he's gonna own you. All right. Now we can get into it. We've had a few subs, as you guys saw. Agilities, they're so excited to see him that they're just tickling him. You know, they're so happy to see that he's back on the roster. Well, not Agility, Silk Thread, obviously.
Silk Thread
Agilities
back
is back there wishing he was getting tickled, but I'm sure that'll happen later.
5 King will also come in. He was the Lucio for the World Cup team, so he is a Lucio specialist. It's his best hero. He also plays a pretty decent Mercy, so when he has to flex onto that, gives them the versatility that they need. As we enter into Control, we are going to lovely Ilios. Now, the Valiant have a 100% win rate on Ilios. They do not lose this map. What's the hope for Shanghai? They've won this map once. They beat Boston in the preseason.
Boom. Wait, hold on.
Preseason.
The preseason. Okay. So there is still a chance. There is still a chance. But the beauty of it is that we do, in fact, have a map with tires coming up at the end of this that Shanghai, specifically Undead, are a threat on. Still, Ilios, there is a chance. They have done their homework here on this map, Shanghai. And I mean, obviously, going into the first 2 maps, you're favoring Valiant, but both of those maps are so scrappy.
Well, Valiant should definitely be favored, but Shanghai is showing that they are still in the potential to play spoiler here. Remember, Valiant have to win all 4 maps. No draws now available, so they're going to have to 4-0 Shanghai just to keep their chances alive. They got to take care of their own business and hope the chips fall in their favor tomorrow to make it to the Stage 1 playoffs. Get a chance for that cash money.
Woo! Yes. Cash money. Prophet isn't here, but he's here in spirit. He has taken Hex's form. He's going to challenge, or channel rather, the inner man, the mission, the beast. All right, let's see. Let's get into the thick of it here. As Valiant, they have begun soon. No shock to see him on the Widowmaker here. And Undead will be mirroring him, but soon, such a monster on Anubis with the Widow. And already, you can't show this guy. You can't show him anything for an instant.
Ruins is Widow's playground here. Soon, now just hitting shots. Unko actually cleans up a kill early on. Dia and Roshan fall early. Now Undead gets 1 kill. If they can get another, they can still fight this. It is 4v5 right now. They're just gonna give it up.
They are gonna give it up, and the big thing there is that they spot out Undead soon. Now he knows which quadrant his opponent is waiting in.
In Control with Widow is exactly where you want to be. Soon has hit so many shots. Look at the disparity in these alt charges. 85% before he's got Infrasight up. Undead only at 40. There's that Infrasight. Gonna make his job easier. Almost eats one though. Oof.
Getting a bit dicey. Does Undead call for it though? No, it doesn't matter. Soon closing the angles. He hits the follow-up, and there it is! Undead wins the duel. And maybe that might be the turning point. Although as I say that, Envy, it's all about Soon. No, Envy. He's living up to his name. He wants a bit of the spotlight too. In fact, he just ejects MG off the map. Don't get this guy pissed off.
5 King got himself in position to be taken down rather easily. There's the Mercy going for the resurrection. Undead should have the advantage here in the next Widow fight, as he's going to have infrared sight up. Get and see everyone through those walls, should he so need it. Soon, God, Undead's hit shots on him, just not the headshots he needs.
That's right, you need to get the dome here for that 1-shot blow, 1 kill, unless you're getting the boost, of course. And well, there you go. Soon picks up the 1. He knows where another squishy is too, so he's just waiting patiently. He knows where Mercy is now as well, thanks to the beam, and Undead has landed yet another shot, but again, needs to get that hit confirm in.
Shanghai will roll into the next fight with Valkyrie available. Kariv will be matching that as well. Valiant have not had to really use Valks or any ultimates, and why would you need to? Crowd loving it. Undead brought back to life. But being zoned out here so far, and Shanghai's got to get into this. They have to go now. You might have to pop Valkyrie. There it is right now, but in the back lines, completely sectioned off. 91% and counting. Shanghai getting absolutely bullied so far.
Oh yeah, no, this is brutal. And Envy showing every reason why he is considered one of the top tier. What a monster. He just goes in and does the damage. Gonna just go ahead and get that self-destruct so he can get a fresh mech and continue to wreak havoc here as the overtime wick is burning. Los Angeles Valiant still in control. They've lost Silk Thread, but Fate is the one going to work now. And the trance will get used here by Freefield just to keep his teammate alive for the res.
Desperation ults, and he will get the res back up onto Roshan. Undead has fallen. There goes Freefield. I think that might be all she wrote. The cleanup should come in here rather swiftly for the Valiant. And as swiftly as 100% to 0, they lead Ilios.
Let's take a look. I mean, right now, it really is just a beastly performance coming in from Soon. Doing 1,000 more damage than Undead. Just really keeping control of those sight lines allows them to just apply the pressure. You can see some Widows, when they're playing on those Widows, right, they're not willing to take the shots at the tanks. They're kind of like looking for the squishies. They're holding off on shooting the big targets. Soon doesn't care. He's just like, actually, I'm going to just mow everything down.
Undead did a little bit there. He kind of held his own in some of those fights, but the rest of the team for Shanghai didn't get a whole lot done. Dia especially got shut down. He peeked the Widow and was punished for it. You can't peek against a Widow of Soon's caliber and expect to live through it.
No, now we're going to get a bit of a change here, a shift in strategy. Soon back on the Tracer. We'll have a bit of the dive coming in here for Valiant. Going into Lighthouse, and well, pretty much the same thing, although Dia has gone for the Rockets.
Yeah, Dia on Pharah. There's not a great answer to a Pharah in this composition for the Valiant. It's going to be up to their tanks to zone it out, or maybe someone will switch onto a more effective hit scan onto it so far, raining down a lot of damage. The tanks are already so low for Shanghai, though. Roshan falls, Unko will fall in turn, and both supports now out of it for Los Angeles, but bringing it back. Still so close, no healing, but Silk Thread doesn't care. Silk Thread kills everything. They will grab first point.
Eventually, there will be a way out provided by Dia for 5 King. That was looking a little dicey for him, but yeah, soon Silk Thread just doing tremendous damage at the start, and that will start that percentage growth here for Los Angeles Valiant. Soon has got his pulse bomb, so we'll keep an eye on that, as well as Silk Thread. He'll have the blade pretty soon here.
What an absolute luxury for the Valiant to be able to run agilities on Genji on some maps, run Silk Thread on maps you might need a Pharah on as well, and not lose a whole lot. Silk Thread's Genji has been so good, definitely leveled up that hero.
Oh, buddy, no reflect here, so he's got to play a little bit careful. Silk Thread able to avoid the hail of rockets flowing at him, but not so for Envy, who gets cleaned up. Soon we'll be able to take out Roshan in the mix, and the wings have been popped here by Kareev, bringing Fate back into the fight. Now it's a question of whether Silk Thread decides exactly to commit with the blade. He sees an opening, he's going for the hack and slash.
5 King does respawn in turn with his own Valkyrie, tries to bring some people back to life. That is Dia being one of them. Silk Thread will fall to the self-destruct, and now some zone control on the point for the Shanghai Dragons. MG gets in there, takes down a couple. It is just Soon and Envy on the point. We're in a very scrappy 2v2, 3v3 situation. Despite a lot of early kills, Shanghai unable to capture the point.
Not able, man. It's Envy now. On that Dia, on that Diva, who might as well be a third DPS at this point.
Well, Silk Thread has switched over to a Pharah of his own with control of the map. This is a great zoning tool. Gonna fire out a little bit. Those rockets are not really intended to hit. If they hit, it's largely luck. Just the projectile speed's not there to really hit them that far away. Now, when you get a little closer, this becomes a skill battle. Deal with the high ground.
You always hold your breath in these sorts of situations. Silk Thread. He'll get ours. Oh, the AoE damage as well. 5 King. Getting a bit too close to heaven there. That's not too comfortable. And now Silk Thread's right on top of him, continuing to try and hit these shots, ignoring the ground battle, trusting in his teammates to win there.
We're in overtime as the sky battle goes on. Meanwhile, back at the ranch on the point, the tanks for the Valiant have gotten kill after kill. They are cleaning up. And doesn't matter what happens in the air when you have ground superiority. Los Angeles Valiant now 3-0. One map away and keeping hope alive.
A flawless control map for Los Angeles Valiant. And man, you really have to give it to Envy as well. You know, I mean, everybody right now on the Valiant, they're really gelling and they're standing out on individual levels. Envy, he's even got more final blows than Soon. It's like, okay, you're a tank, but you're still just gonna go and be the tank assassin.
Envy and Fate are the most improved players on this team. They create so much space. They kill so many supports. Playing like monsters right now. Need to keep it up to sweep.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, everybody, from the break. It is map 4. No dance this time. It is map 4 now between the Los Angeles Valiant. Yeah, it is getting down to the wire here because Hex, lay the knowledge on me right now. Why does life get dangerous for the Valiant?
I told you upstairs, like, if there was one map that the Valiant have to be worried about, it's Junkertown. Only a 50% win rate on Junkertown, and also Shanghai has performed their best on Junkertown. They beat Philadelphia on this map. Furthermore, on Dorado, they beat Dallas and Seoul. So Escort is a map that they thrive on. It's their best map type as far as win percentage goes. And then you let a sniper like Undead or even maybe Dia, if they want to switch things up, go to town on these long sightline maps. You could be in for trouble. This is the only map that Shanghai really should be giving a chance on.
Well, there we have it. Take notes, everybody, and keep your eyes peeled. Just to remind you again, because it is so important, Valiant need a 4-0 in this series to have a chance at the playoffs. They cannot afford to have a draw. They can't afford to have a loss. It has to be clean. And well, you know, after Ilios, you're still feeling pretty good here for Valiant. They've definitely got a lot of momentum going their way. But you're right, this is the point here. The map that could turn it all on its head here for the Valiant. The Dragons are definitely going to give it their all. Another beautiful shot of that sick stage. If you are anywhere near LA, definitely turn up and watch live in person. The stage is awesome.
Yeah, if you can get a ticket. You've been sold out for quite a while, but you know, playoffs are coming up. Make sure you get
right.
there.
Tomorrow, a whole day of glorious Overwatch. And it's going to be a real firecracker of a start as well. But here we go. Junkertown, a map that has tires, good to know, and that, you know, has a big wall too. So
this first point is going to be so critical as far as the Widow v. Widow battles, trying to whittle each other down as fights go on. And then it gets a little more claustrophobic, but this is a map you can run Widow on, and Widow can carry on. And like I said, when Shanghai played Seoul, Dia gave Fleta all he could handle on the Widowmaker. So they're definitely capable Widows here. And this is the best map type, the last best hope for Shanghai Dragons to knock the Valiant out of playoff contention. Valiant have to 4-0, then hope for some stuff to fall their way tomorrow. They've done their job so far, 3-0. That pressure has to be mounting. A nice confidence booster coming off of Ilios there, where they absolutely dominated.
What do we make of this starting defense here for Shanghai Dragons? Then, I mean, they do have Undead on the Widow, no shocker there.
Right.
We have a bit of the Halt and Hook.
Well, they made a change. They did take out MG and they put in Zushu. He's definitely their most flexible player. He can play a Farah. He's going to be playing Roadhog here. I think he's the best Roadhog on the team as well. Roshan, of course, going to be that main tank role. He's going to be playing the Orisa. So this makes a lot of sense. Valiant are poised to come out in a Bastion pirate ship composition, which means pirate puns from us all night. And Kariv is going to be playing the Widow, which may surprise some people, but a lot of these flex supports can flex onto these high-skill DPS heroes.
Yeah, get the man with the magic aim.
Oh, right
Off the
away!
Bastion, and that is big. Kariv already prepared, and he gets, oh no! The disastrous start for Shanghai Dragons.
Could not go any worse. Could not go any worse. They already have to pull all the way back. Now they have to get behind the shield, Kariv.
Please.
All right, so I thought that was the other ledge. All right, a false peek there as Kariv just peeks around the corner. And now look at all this free push. They've got the Bastion set up. He likely won't get on the cart again for this push. That's a sneaky spot, Kariv.
Not a though when you got free field. Spots him out.
Well, that was the kill they needed because that is going to allow Undead no contest at all. They take down Soon, and that's a huge kill as well. Shanghai is completely stabilized here. They will hold this point, and this is enormous because it's going to be very difficult to get the Bastion reset up in a good position. It seems like Soon wants to try it again. They're around this bend. They might rotate all the way around left side, try to go through the room, maybe get a couple kills early on with Kariv. But generally, you want the Bastion to be holding far back over here, and I don't think Shanghai is going to let him get set up.
That's a real tough call. Already taking some damage as well. Of course, Dia's going to be chucking those grenades in there, making this a bit of a costly effort. Kariv looking for the angle. Gets the body shot. That's not going to be good enough when you're shooting into the hog. And Soon already laid low. 5 King with the res. Point blank behind the shield. Perfectly done from him, keeping his team in this fight. But Undead has just lost duel versus Kariv, and that might be the turning point. That key damage lost, and that eviscerates the back line. 5 King has fallen, and Kariv stays alive.
Knocked off the ledge, but only for a moment. Back in just the tanks alive for the Shanghai Dragons, but that will not last very long. Now Los Angeles is completely set up again where they want to be. Tank mode is out for Soon, and just a little victory rocket jumps, even though that's dangerous. Undead takes down Unko. That might give them the feeling they can come back in. Fate is so low right now. If Dia can get on him and kill him, but he gets really nice peel so far.
Oh, buddy, and they're getting split up as well. Envy again! The assassin just runs them over. Longest fight of your life here, by the way, if you're going to watch a machine gunning Widow with the Diva.
Envy is the master of bifurcation. He cuts teams in half and then just eliminates that half of the team. He does it time and again. The 400 HP assassin in Diva with that burst damage. Able to get up there, separate supports, gets both of them there. Reeve looks for that shot, and they're just sticking on this, and why wouldn't you? Shanghai stabilized once, but that's about it.
Yeah, now you've got sight lines on the high ground as well. Spot that they aren't set up there just yet. They are looking for a different, well, not so much. Roshan is kind of poking around in the high ground, but exactly, Agility's has got eyes on that. Not going to be able to pull that surprise off.
When they get around the bend, if they can win a fight, they might try to move Soon up into the high ground so he can cover both the entry points. It makes it very difficult for a team to even contest, but the fight's going to happen before then.
Yeah, Dia just jumps onto Kariv immediately, and once that Widow is out of it, now the back line can get threatened. We do have the wings pocked by 5K, keeping his teammates up with that chain healing, and this should be a hard reset here for the Valiant.
Maybe. I mean, that Valkyrie was a little bit questionable, but they had to throw everything in there to make sure they won that. They were already winning the fight when the Valkyrie came out. The Valkyrie just the icing on the cake. A nice stagger here is going to make Envy unavailable to fight for a little bit longer here. Soon staying on the Bastion because he's got tank mode. One shot kill on most heroes in the game.
Undead there. He's kind of thanking his lucky stars that stagger took so long. Died for that self-destruct, and that was a bit off.
Kariv now with infra sight up, to be able to see through walls, gonna make Undead's job that much harder. Dia pressuring just a little bit. Roshan takes down Fate very early, and they're not really in position to go reset. They have to reset this. Free Field will die. Whoa, whoa. Nah, he's just going back to spawn.
Yeah. Giving his healer a little bit of love there.
He's off it. He's going over to Tracer. That is his signature. They switch up a couple things. Agility is going to go to the... Yeah, I mean, it's just a full-on composition switch here. They're rotating back to dive. Pure dive.
Well, it's now or never here for Los Angeles Valiant. 2 minutes left on this clock to push through the second portion of this map. The S-Bend and Undead. Undead, again, if you do not get somebody in here to mess with him, Soon is hunting. Soon is looking right now, and he's getting on the point. Progress is being made yet again. Nobody is on top of this. Soon!
The Soon special back cap. He's not even going to fire a shot.
Unbelievable.
How do they not know? Hush, hush, you guys are going to let them know.
Oh, there it is. Roadstock finally figures it out. But some free progress made there from Soon, and you don't even get the kill, and now Soon, he's hunting down Undead. Putting the pressure on the sniper, not letting him get comfortable. Undead not going to get caught off guard, however, but of course Envy still here. Wins the fight versus Zushu.
There's a very nice recovery, though, from Shanghai. They got in the back line and were able to kill Unko during that fight. Now, 5King will have his Valkyrie up with Unko's as well during this next fight. Both teams resetting. A little over a minute left to go. Everything is so important.
You looking for me? Oh no! Undead makes it to the pack just in time. That should make life pretty difficult here for Soon, who's just gonna go all the way over to third point. Fate, however, has found 5King.
5King dead with Valkyrie in his pocket. That is a worst case scenario as the opposing Valkyrie will be popping everyone back to life. These kills do not matter for Shanghai as everyone's brought back to life in the zombie meta here. And they will get pushed out. This should be second point for Los Angeles Valiant on what was their penultimate push.
It is so difficult to fight against Los Angeles Valiant when Soon is alive in the back line forever. Undead constantly having to worry about him. The rest of the team have to play around it as well, and that creates openings for the rest of Los Angeles Valiant to move in and capitalize. So now we have the second point capped and we move on to the third.
Every ultimate available for the Valiant except for Valkyrie. Nearly the opposite case for Shanghai. Valkyrie and Pulse Bomb available for them.
So many ults. Not the 6, but you're right. Fate. Bit of teamwork there to collapse on Roshan, who goes down early again. Undead takes the shot reflected in his face and gets slashed for his troubles. This is looking a bit grim here for Shanghai.
Both reses out, still Valiant holding all of the ultimates that they had to. Transcendent come out, but that is it. They still have all these DPS ultimates. They should hold them. They won that fight handily. 117 left. This is a very long U-turn this payload has to make. If Shanghai can stall them out one more time, it looks like the best they could do is finish in overtime.
A kill on Agilities is nice. That is one of the ultimates, the big playmaking ult off the table as well. Zushu barely. No, he will get demeched eventually. That's going to open it up for the self-destruct. Can they get out of harm's way? Yes, Valiant make it back around the corner, but not away from Dia, who hunts down the back line and even finds Envy as well.
Those are the kills that they needed there. Now, under a minute with only 45 seconds left, it's almost impossible for this payload to reach the end before we get into overtime, which is a critical mechanic. Unko going to have his Valkyrie up soon. Dia looking for critical pulse bomb damage here.
Dia's been stepping up his game, certainly Dia, on that Tracer play, not easy. Oh, just getting caught. It's a bit of a traffic jam in the stairwell there. MG not gonna be able to get back in. No, Zushu, sorry, not gonna be able to get back into the fight.
Great play there to body block him on the stairs. Now pressure in the back line from Fate. He knows that he's safe because he has Primal Rage. Gets his HP back up to 1,000. Now pushing everyone out. Freefield will take down Soon, so a lot of damage out of this fight. 5King, though, out of it on the other side of things. Soon brought back up.
There we go, working together, and now Agility is the icing on the cake. Drive-by on Dia, hacks him to bits, and Envy is there to help out for Freefield as well. They're losing players rapidly here. Shanghai Dragons, Agilities just stuffing them, and they will get the third point. No! Just there, 5King on the Lucio switch, trying to delay it, but it's not gonna happen.
They do finish, but it is in overtime. Los Angeles Valiant, to keep their Stage 1 playoff hopes alive, just have to stop Shanghai anywhere before the end of Junkertown. And then they'll be cheering on some teams tomorrow.
Yeah, no pressure, Hex. No pressure. Time to put it all on the table. This is the end of Stage 1. You want to spot in the playoffs. Not only is there prize money, there's glory to be had. and on home turf as well here in front of their fans. The Valiant definitely standing tall here with the 3 points to their name. Now, are we going to get the pirate ship? Is it time to set sail? Check the breeze for me, Hex.
Yes.
We're in a room. I don't know how we would actually check the breeze, but bit protected from the elements here in the caster booth. But I'm pretty sure that it's blowing.
I would have done that thing where you could like pick up a blade of grass and then you watch the wind. That's how golfers do it, I think.
You're hygienic though, you know, because you're not licking your finger, right?
No,
you know where that finger's been.
I don't know where my finger's been.
Jesus.
You know, there's a lot of door handles in this place. I'm going in and outside all the time. It's just,
It is true that because everybody is here every day, if somebody gets a
also
cold,
people,
that's it.
people have been sick lately as well.
We need to actually ask Blizzard for a quarantine room that, you know, oh, sorry, you got a cold? Yeah, you're not leaving that room all day. So.
I'm actually wearing rubber gloves. They're just flesh toned.
The skin colored? Yeah. What are we doing now, though?
Looks like pirate ship. This is a little different variation of it as well. You can run the Bastion with double sniper, and you want to get the crossfire in there. So one of them's going to take one side, the Hanzo takes the other side, and then while everyone's trying to focus on the Bastion, you try to hit these shots from either the left or the right. Get a lot of damage in there as well. At some point, though, Shanghai is probably going to switch to at least a single healer. You don't want 0 heals on the card, although the card does provide a little bit of healing. Not enough. 5 King might be on this just for a Sonic Arrow, just to check where the team is, and then he'll probably switch to Mercy.
Yep. Yeah. So we will have that solo heals as the cart begins to make progress. We're looking for Free Field to get up on the point, and he will. Roshan has to be careful, though. We need a fresh barrier there to protect his mate, and yes, sure enough, the barrier will go down, and now the pirate ship sets sail.
Going here. Agility is at 32%. One of the best ways to dislodge that pirate ship is to send a Riptire at it. Let's bomb that out.
That's so big.
5 King down immediately. Soon continues his reign of terror on Widowmaker.
And that's after Undead spots him as well. So the angle is just Soon, maybe Undead not expecting him to push so aggressively. Soon doesn't care. Soon just kills everything. Although this is a bit hairy here. Zushu getting the drop on him. Soon we'll be able to back off, farm a little ult off of him, and then, well, in the meantime, they're just going ham right now. Valiant, they've got control of the cart.
That was an odd play from Zushu to never even attempt a hook on the Widowmaker. Just went down, thought he was going to get primary fire, then maybe when he was backing out was going to need that hook. So far, Shanghai have been stymied on this first point. Everyone been very quiet as far as even damage output. Look at those ult percentages. A lot of them below 50%. Free Field switches now, so they are abandoning ship.
They're getting out in the lifeboats. Are they going to survive, though? Big question is Free Field is now on the Zenyatta. We still got Dia on the McCree as well, so let's see if he can actually go toe-to-toe here. You got Undead looking for the angle, but of course, it will be quite a bit of damage taken from these grenades to start. Agilities, man, he is just so happy right now on his home map.
Oh, the halt and then the mine over top takes down Dia.
Oh, man. That is not where you want to be, Undead. You are very much dead. And the rest of your team, too. Agilities. That couldn't have gone better. Gets the concuss mine as well. Forces Roshan out, and this is Agilities just having fun. Cutting loose, feeling good, hitting nades, point blank, doesn't care. What a beast!
Another great halt brings that Zenyatta right into firing range. Pull! And then he lands the mine onto it. Again, Agilities and Silk Thread, both excellent Genjis. Agility specializes in the Junkrat, Silk Thread specializes in the Pharah. What a luxury for Valiant to have these guys on the team be able to swap for whatever the map requires.
Man, ults galore here. It's an ult fiesta.
Well, Shanghai switched up heroes a couple times too, so they're so far behind on ults. Free Field switched on to Zenyatta. Dia is onto the Tracer, not going to have much going. Zusha, Roadhog, I mean, nothing good going for Shanghai right now, except maybe a Transcend. Dia will take down that tire. That's a nice start. Small victories.
Yeah, Dia was looking, I mean, he was looking for revenge. Agilities was looking for revenge with that tire. He got killed in the meantime, and there we go. Zushu remembers that fishing can be a good thing and finds the kill on Soon. Don't think that there will be able to get the Karib will be able to get the res on him either, although that could have been the closest one. No, decides to pop the wings to get Unko back into it instead.
Mission to take off denied. Envy's going to try to send some people off the edge over there. Roshan is able to take down his opponent's supercharger at the very least. Not decisive just yet. A huge hook. No kill though. I think he might have got some help from his friends right there. Just that. Free Field brought back up. This one is a bloodbath on the point, but still holding strong as the Valiants.
Oh, that was a big hook! And Fate there to hell 5 King. You're thinking Roshan's the one going for the ride, but instead it's the Mercy. No res, no heals, and so Roshan will fall next. Another hook coming in, and Envy continues to style.
It's just unfair to hit hooks like that. They also used Valkyrie in that last fight for Shanghai. That was one of their last best chances. Roshan's gonna have to switch to Winston just to get to the point. The Valiant are 5 seconds away from keeping hope alive. Shanghai, they might not even be able to get to the card. They do last second touch it is Dia.
There we go. We got the swap over to Winston as well. Roshan drops the barrier immediately, but Agility is just not going to hesitate for a second. This is all on Dia, saving a blink to touch the point, keep overtime alive. But that's pretty much it with the whole Hog used to zone him out. The Los Angeles Valiant win the match 4-0 and keep their hopes alive for the playoffs. They've done their part. They've done everything they can.
They took care of their business. Now it is up to the gods, up to RNGesus to see what happens to them tomorrow. They do need some conditions to be filled.
That is the painful thing. Map difference, results in a big group like this. It's going to be riding on what the other teams are capable of tomorrow here for the Valiant. We'll see if Fate favors them. I don't know, we can just ask him real quick. But yeah, a brutal end to the season here for Shanghai. They've made so much progress. They're so exciting to watch now. It always feels like it's just there, but they will not get a win in the first stage. So now let's hear what the Valiant have to say. Let's hear what Silk Thread has to say. Zoe, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, guys. That's Silk Thread from the LA Valiant now joining me. Please give it up. The Valiant did what they had to do, and they defeated the Shanghai Dragons 4-0, but that playoff spot is still not guaranteed. How is that feeling for you and your team that your fate now relies on someone else's results?
It's definitely a little bit unfortunate that we can't control our own fate coming into Stage 1 playoffs. However, we're happy with our results so far, and all we have to do now is wish for the best, and we did our part, basically.
All right. Can you smile a second for me? There you go. Look so unhappy. Guys, you're so close to get to those Stage 1 playoffs. Now, we just saw the Shock really stepping up against the Seoul Dynasty, taking it all the way to a 5th game. And honestly, Shanghai Dragons definitely gave you a run for the money as well. Now that we're ending the Stage 1, do you feel like the skill gap between the teams is getting closer?
I definitely feel so. I think it's shown a lot. I mean, a lot of the Korean teams got beat by Western teams, which I don't think anybody was expecting coming into the season. So I think Season 2 is going to be a lot better. I mean, or not Season 2. Stage 2 is going to be a lot better in terms of competition, and I'm really excited for it.
Well, so is everyone in here, right? That's right. Thank you so much for joining me. Maybe we're going to see you and the guys on stage again tomorrow in the playoffs. We're all crossing our fingers for that. But for now, let's head back to our decks to break down the action.
Give it up one more time for the LA Valiant. Big victory tonight as they get all 4 map wins over the Shanghai Dragons. Welcome back to the desk, everybody. It's Puckett here to close out the show. And we've got Brennan Crumbs once again. Brent is less angry because his Valiant squad just got a 4-0. But let's start with game number 3 because Numbani, shaky. Anubis, you're looking better. This is when Valiant goes all out 100%. Yes, we had some nice picks from Undead, but after that, it was Valiant running over them.
Yeah, and the tank play is really the forefront of this. Envy played a huge role in basically shutting down the entirety of Shanghai Dragons. You can see here, the guy was almost unstoppable in the final moments of this match and his entire series. But again, supported in hand by Fate, the rest of his team as well as the big partners, the why they kind of just rolled over them.
Well, it gets really easy to play Diva when a monkey's always jumping in by himself. All you need to do is you just zero in on him with your own booster pack and you just whittle him down. That's what Diva's great at doing, killing those individual beefy members that go into your backline, and Shanghai Dragons was no stranger to doing that.
Soon was on fire on the Tracer, the tanks bullying around everyone else from the Dragons, and at the end of the day, it's Valiant now 1 map away of completing their goal, and that is to go perfect here in Week 5. Let's take a look at the final map. It went to Junkertown, and Kareev from support, no mercy kills. He opens up with his snipe, takes down Undead, and from here you think, oh, all right, nice shot. Hits the second one. Mercy's out of the action. You have to be able to roll it all the way to A. Shanghai hung in. They were able to get a big pick from Freefield, but at the end, I feel like this is just Valiant showing that they are on a different level than the Shanghai Dragons.
Exactly what you're saying. At this point, it is just no mercy for the Shanghai Dragons. The Valiant busted out all of their stops he had soon with the back cap, agility. I think he almost hit a 6K on Junkrat that we followed through. It was just a sick game from this team on the last point, and it just shows how good they can get when they're warmed up.
It's kind of scary to think what you can do with this support duo as well. Unko showing what he can do on the Zenyatta. Kareem showing he's got some hit scan prowess. Valiant, they got a deep lineup, and over the course of their 40 matches throughout our first season, you got to think this is going to be a team that is definitely going to be in the final 6. As we take a look at our final matchup here, though, we have to narrow it down to just one player. And for me, it was too tough to pick. So, Brent, I'll let you announce the player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP.
It had to be Envy, didn't it? I mean, we picked this guy up. His diva play across the board. This guy was incredible. And honestly, it's just on another level, it feels like, as well, in terms of deep play. I was picking up Coolmat the other day, right? I was really, really enjoying his style, his gameplay, the fact that he was making these game-saving flanking positions. But the best thing about Envy is how well he works with the rest of his team. That's his star quality in my eyes.
But I want to also showcase how good he is compared to your regular diva, right? He was playing diva for most of this series, and a lot of the times we show the stats and like, how great is this? Well, he actually ended up putting up, we got the average stat of the average divas in the league, and he had 27 more eliminations and 13 less deaths than your average diva.
This is ridiculous.
Is that not just above, beyond, and even further?
122 limbs, 10 deaths. That's stats I will never put up even in ranked play playing against Braun
on one game.
Ridiculous numbers here. 6,500 more damage than the average diva in 19 more final blows. Envy was on fire, and he did it across multiple heroes. Those diva stats shine the brightest. A big day for the Valiant, and as we take a look back at the entirety of the day, we got to highlight some big wins. The Dallas Fuel, awful start to the season. They finished 3-1 over the Gladiators. Seoul, they lost 2 maps, but they were able to get the edge over the Shock, and the Valiant just finished with the 4-0 over the Shanghai Dragons. So what does that mean for our league standings? Well, currently, Seoul Dynasty is number 3, but they're going to be they're number 4 now. Valiant jumps into that number 3 spot, but things really start to get interesting tomorrow as we keep our eyes on number 5 and 6.
Yeah, tomorrow is going to have so much impact on the way these standings are going to be playing out. I'm looking forward to it. Great games ahead of us.
And especially that first one. This will determine the number 1 seed. Also has major impacts on all the teams underneath. If New York excel, if they win or lose by just 1 map, they're locking up the number 1 seed. If they lose by 2 maps or more, it's London who steals that first spot. Houston Outlaws, Boston, massive matchup there at 1 p.m. One of them has a great chance of moving on. And of course, the Valiant will be cheering on the Boston Uprising to win. But go all the way to Game 5 because they're down in the map score. They need Boston to pull out a 3-2 victory or get a tie in their series against the Outlaws. The playoff matches, though, begin at 5 p.m., and this is where the action really starts to heat up. Only the top 2 get paid, with $25 grand going to second and $100,000 awarded as our performance bonus at the end of stage 1. Guys, it's early. I'm getting your picks. Who are the 3 teams in tomorrow? Who walks away with it all, Bren?
I'm going to be going with New York as the winners of the entire thing. I'm going to be going London as a close second and Houston Outlaws in third.
New York number 1.
I actually have a feeling that Houston is going to be in second here. I'm putting New York first, Houston in second, and London in third.
Houston just beat London. I don't think I can root against them going up against Boston, but keep in mind, it was Boston who handed the Valiant a 4-0 defeat. We'll see if they can get the job done tomorrow. Once again, all of the action kicks off at 11 a.m. Pacific. We want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow.